literally like so sad but so happy at the same time. Just want to get out of Osage Hospital. Get out of here. I'm ready. I'm ready to say.
Down. I made it too far to say that the war is over now. Somehow I was neglecting the fact that your heart is what you're protecting, and that makes it special, which is why I'm here, standing on this ledge trying to make it clear. I'm ready to fall for you. I've been waiting too long. If I gotta fight for us, and I know I'm right where I needed to be all along. So until I have your love, there's no surrender, no retreat. I'm never giving up until I sweep you off your feet. I need your love.
So it's been a while. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do make sure to like, to comment, and to subscribe. And trust me, in 2021, you do not want to be missing out. So it's been a while. The last time you saw me, I was attempting to do Vlogmas. But then I got COVID, and that kind of changed everything. It was hell, and I would not wish it on my worst enemy. And I always think of it like I didn't even have it as bad as some people may have. I was just kind of trying to manage it from home, but there were definitely a lot of days that I experienced that I was just it's not okay, guys. COVID ayidlali. So just a disclaimer, this is just purely my experience with COVID, and every person experiences symptoms very differently. And I do want to acknowledge that everybody's body is different. Some people may only experience post-COVID symptoms. Some people may never experience any symptoms at all, and some people may experience every single one of them. So it's very different from person to person, and yeah, I just want to make it clear that I'm purely speaking from my own experience, and please do not take my experience as professional advice. If you are worried that you may have been in contact with someone with COVID or have any symptoms, go and see a health professional, get a test, and make sure to isolate. So yeah, I just want to put that out there because I'm a health professional. So yeah, let's get right into it, I guess. People have this misconception that it's, you know, if you're young, it won't be that bad. But I think we're finding with this variant that honestly, it's really can hit anyone. It doesn't matter how healthy you are, it doesn't matter how young you are. Yeah, it's quite a scary thing. Like, I'm a dietitian, I'm not a doctor, so I couldn't really tell the difference between my cough being dry or not, because it was quite a phlegmy cough, so I assumed that it was purely just like a lower respiratory or upper respiratory tract infection, something like that. I didn't think that it was COVID, so I got help from a doctor. The next day, a friend of mine who had been with us during that weekend went to test, and she sent me a text and she was like, yo guys, I tested positive. I was just like, where? If this girl's positive, there's no way I'm not. There is no way I'm not positive. So yeah, I just kept pushing through the weekend. I wasn't feeling well, but I didn't feel too bad. I felt like I wasn't getting better, but it was just, I just didn't feel well. So then on the Monday, we went to go and test, but we didn't do the rapid test. We did the other, like, the test that takes more time for the results to come back. But we were feeling so sick that the next day, yeah, our supervisor was just like, no, you need to go and test. So we went and did the test again, but this time we did the rapid test, the test that kind of gives you the results back within a day. I got mine maybe 2 hours later, and lo and behold, I was positive. I kind of was expecting that again, because my friend who had tested on the Friday tested positive. So yeah, it was a terrible time. But yeah, I think things just took a turn for the worst after the Monday for me. Yeah, so when it comes to symptoms, I experienced all the symptoms except for loss of smell and loss of taste. So I had a lack of appetite, shortness of breath, really tight sore chest, like sharp chest pains, coughing, like the coughing just would not end. The coughing wouldn't end. I was tired all the time. The fatigue was unreal. I've never experienced fatigue on that level in my life. No energy. I was taking maybe 3 naps a day, and then on top of that sleeping for 10 hours. My chest was so painful all the time. I could barely breathe. I had so much shortness of breath, and I spoke like with all my colleagues. We have this one day where things got so bad that we started thinking about how life would be if we weren't on the earth anymore, because I was sitting on the edge of my bed. I was struggling to breathe. It was probably like 9-10 o'clock at night, and I just wanted it all to end. Like I was like, when is this gonna end? Like when am I gonna stop feeling so sick? That was probably one of the toughest moments I've experienced. Couldn't deal with being so sick anymore, guys. I get COVID ayidlali, and sometimes when I would have enough energy, I'd go on my phone, and just seeing people living their lives, I was just like so scared for them, because I was like, I know that it's so likely that they could get it too, and like I wouldn't want to wish that on anyone, and I would never want anyone to have that. But just seeing people like kind of like living lives and like going out, like I don't blame anyone, because I also can't say anything, because I did go out, I did go to a restaurant, you know what I mean? I was just so scared for people, because I just couldn't see anyone else. Like I couldn't see how much worse it could get, and the fact that there's people who have lost their lives to this virus, there's people who've had to be hospitalized and ventilated and have to get oxygen and all of that because of this virus. It's so damaging. And I think that there's also the mental aspects that happen as well, where you're alone, and like I've never felt more alone than those days that I was isolating, because you don't have anyone. You know when you're sick, usually there's someone who can, you know, rub your back or just show any sort of affection. And I'm personally, I don't know about anyone else, but personally I like being babied when I'm sick. I've always been babied when I was sick, when I was growing up, and I just like being taken care of. So it was so hard to not really have that, and not have any sort of affection, because no one can give me affection, because I'm contagious and no one can touch me. It was really tough, because I was very much in denial of how sick I was at some stage. I'm so bad at asking for help, and I think what made it worse is there were so many people who wanted to help me and who were so willing, but I'm so bad at asking for help that it took me so long to actually ask. So yeah, it was tough, and I'm really like, I'm not trying to be emotional, like I'm not trying to get anyone's pity, like I'm not asking for anyone's pity, but it wasn't easy, and I just didn't want to stress anyone out. But yeah, I definitely had a lot of really, really tough moments, and I'm sure anyone who's had it, and who's had it mild and above, more than mild, because I think I was in between mild and being hospitalized. I think I was in that gray area. I'm still feeling the effects now. The fatigue has gotten so much better now, but wow guys, when did it go? Like, no ways. Like I've never felt so tired from doing nothing. I remember making my bed. This is 3 weeks post symptoms. Making my bed and having like the sharpest chest pain. I'm just so grateful to feel almost back to normal. I feel like 80% myself. I still get to bed at night and I'm like exhausted. Usually I'm not like as tired, but I'm just so grateful to like slowly but surely be getting back to normal. I honestly, like, thinking of how I was last week even versus this week, completely different. I still had so little energy last week, but the past couple, I know that for the general population, if you're not deficient, there's not necessarily a need to supplement, but I think that in specific cases, you know, for people who get things like any sort of conditions or viruses like COVID, supplementing has made the world of difference. Of course, if you're going to supplement, you do need to make sure that you get it under medical advice, especially vitamin D, because it is a fat soluble vitamin, so it can store in your fat cells and keep releasing for an extended period of time. So yeah, but I found that supplements were really helpful. As soon as I started taking zinc, vitamin D, and even just B complex, I just felt better. Of course, I knew that for me vitamin D was going to be beneficial, usually melanated skin. So if you're someone who has dark skin, if you're elderly, those are some cases where you're much more likely to be deficient in vitamin D, because elderly aren't in the sun as much, and because when you have dark skin you don't absorb as much vitamin D. So yeah, I think supplements were really helpful for me in this case, and I honestly feel like I wasn't expecting them to do so much, but I just think that it's so important to obviously always get supplements under the help of a dietitian or a doctor, just as long as you're getting it under supervision. I think that's very important. So yeah, I honestly feel so much better. I feel so ready for this year. It was so hard to leave, but without being able to properly spend those last moments with everyone because of COVID, because I only left isolation on Christmas Eve. So yeah, I was so happy and so fortunate to have been able to still do Christmas, although it was not a normal Christmas for my family. It was just still so nice to feel some sort of normalcy and to be around people again, because it had been such a long time since I had been around people. I guess that's my COVID story, completely unexpected. I'm back in Joburg now. I finished ComServe. There was 3 or 4 days before I moved back to Joburg, so it just felt like it was such a quick goodbye. But I know, like, even though I got sick in literally the last weeks of my ComServe, I still am so grateful for the time that I got in Ngobo to be able to serve that community. It has a very special place in my heart. I'm very grateful for every single person that I met there and worked with and just did life with. I'm grateful for every single person who supported me when I was sick and made me food and supplied me with the vitamins I needed and the medication. I'm just very grateful for the support system, because I think even though I couldn't physically be with people really came through for me in more ways than I could imagine. Like, just all the support I got from friends and family on a daily basis, even though 100% of the time I just didn't have the energy. But yeah, the past couple of days I've gotten so much better, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for my health. I think COVID has made me really appreciate my health a lot more, appreciate my body, appreciate what I put into my body. Anyways guys, that's my experience. Click again on that notification button if you're looking forward to more health and nutrition related content throughout this year. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video.